What's going on, everyone? It is GamerGuy85 and I am here with you at Now That's What I Call Gaming with a special tutorial video. Here at Now That's What I Call Gaming, we're about more than just doing product reviews and gaming reviews. I'm also here to help you learn how to do things that you might need to do if you're collecting retro games. Case in point, I have the Nintendo Gameboy Advance SP. It's the highly desired AGS 101. I don't know if that focused in or not, but it's the AGS 101, which if many of you don't know, it's the backlit screen for the Game Boy Advance SP. Highly desirable, highly coveted, but mine has definitely seen its better days. I mean, we got scuffs on the top here. You can see that this back hinge is cracked. The system itself is being held together by some masking, by some scotch tape. But, I mean, but for all that, it still works. And it still works just fine. Also, one of the other things that's wrong with it is this area where the games are. One of the sides is a little broken there. You can kind of see it there by the sticker. You know, for a while it seemed like there was nothing you could do about it, but then retro gamers have gotten together and come up with solutions. So I purchased a kit off of Amazon, and I'm going to first show you what comes in the kit. And then we're gonna reshell my Game Boy Advance. Okay, so here we are at the workstation. We got our original Game Boy Advance SP right here, and we got the reshell right here. Link to where I got this is in the description below. So, and as always, make sure if you like this channel or if you're new to this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video if it helps you out. So let's go over what comes in this. So first we get two screwdrivers. One of them is a standard small Phillips head screwdriver. The other's your Y-bolt screwdriver. It comes with it, but I will not be using these. I have a better set that I'm going to be using. Let me go get that out. It's a more complete set, and I like it. I like using it better. So that's the set we're going with. I'll put a link to this set in the description. One thing I like about it, it has this magnetic pad for. It has this magnetic mat for the screws, because you know the screws in this thing are really small. So this will come in handy for keeping track of those. You got your case. Now this comes in several parts. You got a battery cover, the lower case, and the upper case, which comes apart into 3 pieces. All the buttons are there, except for the volume control, the volume slider, which we'll have to take from the original. This has all your other parts, your screw covers, your Nintendo logo, and your screws. And of course we got a new screen cover. So this is a pretty good kit. It's not terribly expensive, so if you're looking to repair your Game Boy, it's pretty good. I got as close to the color as I could. I'm going to be using the instructions from iFixit telling you how to do a shell replacement. There's one rule I will give with any kind of project like this, and I can speak from experience on this. Take your time. That is my #1 rule. Follow that rule from beginning to end. Do not try to take shortcuts. You don't want to damage anything and make the whole thing never work again. So let's get started here. So first off, the first thing we gotta do is we need to get to the screws in the battery compartment. So we need the original one up. And let's get my screwdriver. And group of Phillips heads right here. We'll go with the 00 on this one to start with. Alright. Unscrew that. Take that piece off. And now we get the battery out. Now, I do got a new one of these coming, but I will be using this, so we're going to put that off to the side here. Okay, now, looking at this, and with the pictures here, there are several screws that we need to remove. There's one here and one up here, and then there's 4 here, and these are the tri-point screws. So they're basically Nintendo's specialty security bolts. To prevent people from taking apart their stuff that they own. Obviously they stopped. Actually, obviously that's no longer very effective, but you know, they'll still try to do it, so as long as you got the right equipment, you're good to go. One thing I would definitely recommend you do if you're going to use these screws, because you don't have to use the ones that come with, if you want to keep it as OEM as possible. One of the things I would totally recommend doing is your mat here, or whatever you're using, just make sure you write down what each thing is. So like with a dry erase marker, I would put shell back, and that'll tell me that all those screws go to the back of the shell. Alright, so next step. Alright, now we're going to take the bottom of this off. Alright, set that off. Make sure we set everything off to the side. Don't lose anything. Don't get rid of anything until you're sure you don't need it. So there's your motherboard here. You got 3 screws you got to take out here. They're all right around the main console part here. Okay, that piece came off of something here, so we'll figure that out later. But it's all through hang on, I'm moving pieces here. So 1, 2, and 3. So they're in a triangle shape. Well, let me get you some light here. So you want 1, 2, and 3. Let me try to zoom it in here so you can see this a little better. So you're going 1, 2, 3. You're taking those out. And again, these use the Phillips head screwdrivers. And at this point, if you notice your motherboard is a little dirty or needs a little bit of a cleaning, this would be the point where you would just go ahead and clean it off. Use a little bit of, isopropyl alcohol, clean it off. Whatever. Just make sure you don't lose your screws. And you make sure you label them. Now this next part is extremely important. You've got to be gentle with this, because right now we're going to be messing with a ribbon cable. Basically it's the piece that connects the motherboard to the screen. If you break this cable, then your Game Boy Advance SP, forget about it. It's dead. So gently, you're going to want to lift up the motherboard. You're going to want to lift it up gently here. And then you're going to pull up 2 clips. Right here. And then that's going to come off. Now typically you want to use very delicate materials. I've got a pair of tweezers here, and I've got a small spudger tool, which is what I'm going to try first. There's the clips right there. They're on the sides, on the bottom. They're little great clips. And now the ribbon cable comes out. So now we've got the motherboard. Again, let's put that off to the side. There's a small, under the ribbon cable, we got a small Phillips head screw right there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark, once again we got our magnet sheet, I'm going to mark on that the screws for the motherboard. And now we're going to take this screw out under the ribbon cable. Right there. And since I got pieces coming all over the place, I'm going to put them here in the box here. Now let's mark this one as just mark them as something so that you know what they are. That's all you can really do. Alright, so that takes care of our second step here. So far so good. Right now, this step, I'm going to lose the buttons here, I think. Take all the start and select and everything out for now. Alright, so we're going to open the screen here. That popped out. Now we're going to take the screen off. Now what we need to do is we need to get into these areas here. So this is where you're going to need a spudger because you've got screws in there. So you got to kind of get these off. Those are now off there. Now we've got, looks like we got 5 of these Phillips screws. So it looks like we got that. So we're going to go ahead and just get those off of here. Carefully take ribbon cable out. Okay. Now this next part is totally optional. You can remove this protector if you want, or you can leave it if it's in good shape. I'm just gonna remove it just so we can do this completely. So you want to use a gentle spudger and just hang on a second. I want to feel what this is. It feels like that's a different material than... Oh yeah. You know what? On second thought, I am actually going to leave that on there because this is actually a nice piece of glass and it's in good shape, so I'm not going to mess with that. We're just going to leave that alone. But you can change it if you want. You don't have to leave it. Now this next step is very difficult because you have to take these hinges. There are hinges right in here. I'm trying to catch the light to show you. But, here, let me get my phone's flight. Okay, so there are... If you look right in here, there are hinges that you have to get out of your system so you can do this. Now, this kit does not come with these hinges, so you're going to want to apply pressure from the inside, and I would try to keep it as low as I can so that it, or you want to use a metal thing. I would keep this as low as possible just because you don't want these things flying out all over the place, or you're going to want to put them in a place where you can control where they're flying to. But yeah, you can see how bad this thing was busted. Okay, so we got them out of here, and now we're supposed to remove the caps at the end, because there's a cap on each of these. I actually used this thing to get them out, and it came out pretty easily. I don't, you know, I broke that one a little bit, but it don't matter because this kit comes with caps. So, well, that busted out anyway. So, all right, so there we go. Now we got all these. Now we got our hinges out. So now we are. So now we're finished with the old shell. We might not be finished with all the parts, but we're finished with the old shell. So now we're going to take out the new shell. And the first thing it tells us to do here is to put the hinges from the old case in about halfway. And if you look inside, there is a groove that you have to slide these things into. So get them in the groove. And again, you put them in about halfway. Don't put them in too far. Because then you're supposed to open it. To push them in the rest of the way. I'm going to cap these before I push them in. Now we're going to get some of our smaller pieces out of here. Actually, yeah, we can do that. Now we're going to recap these. Now it looks like these just kind of slide on here. Sort of, somehow. Maybe. Yeah, they just kind of slide on in there. So if you broke them off, you got to make sure you get all the crud out of that, because there's a groove for these things to slide into. Alright, now we got those on. Now it's open. So now we'll just push these. Get these pushed in here. Pushing them in may be about as hard as pulling them out, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get that done real quick, and then I'll come right back to continue. Okay, so the hinges are in. Maybe they don't go in quite flush, so maybe that can come later. That might come as you use it a little bit. Now they want you to put the screen in, so just kind of open it up carefully, put it in here, and then your ribbon cable needs to feed. There's a path for it to go. You need to feed it through. Remember, it's got to reach the bottom. That in. We're going to feed ribbon cable through here. Alright. Now the ribbon cable's fed through. This piece on the back here. Now we're going to screw the screen down. We're going to screw the screen part down. Now this part, if you have your original hardware, you can use that if you wish. You can also use the hardware that comes with it, or you might need to do a combination. Do whatever works best for you. Some people want the OEM parts, others don't really care. But since two of these screws didn't come out, I'm gonna use a combination here. Flip it over, and there's the spot for the speaker. So we're gonna put the speaker in its place, just like that. Alright, so that step is now done. Pretty simple. Looks pretty good so far. Let's go to the next step. Now the next step is we're going to put the ribbon cable back into its place on the motherboard. So you're going to take your ribbon, gently, we're going to put it, treat it gentle, treat it with kid gloves. Okay, so I got the ribbon almost in. It's still sticking out just a little bit. Using these tweezers helps to get, because it can get you in where your fingers can't go. It popped out so you get to see me do it again. So, grab it by this and just kind of guide it in. You'll feel it go in. When it's in as far as you can get it, you just want to lock it in. Just pop the sides back in to lock it down. Alright, so now the motherboard's connected. Now we're going to guide it into the case. You'll see the screw holes. And remember, we use three screwdrivers for wait, there's supposed to be a screw here. See, this is why we do this. There's supposed to be a screw in there. Take the ribbon cable out for a moment, because there's a piece that's got to go. You gotta get the screw out of here to do this. I just remembered that we got this piece which goes on this part to hold the motherboard in place, and you gotta screw that in from the bottom side. So it's tricky, but let's get that in first, then we'll continue on. There we go. Now it's on there. Alright, so now we'll do the next steps, which is put the speaker in place. If I get the motherboard back on again. At least I know how to do it a little easily. Back into place, and now we screw in these three screws here. We have a square threaded washer for the shell here, for the back. There's a square protuberance right there, which this is going to go in. So this is very important to get in there. It's a tight squeeze, but I got it in. Now you got to make sure that your volume and power sliders are in place before you put this on. Obviously, you know, you want the power slider to be in place so that you can turn this thing on and off. Just making sure everything lines up, because this is your only chance if it doesn't. It just feels weird right now for some reason, but we'll see. Everything's got to be right. Kind of figuring out how these pieces go on. Well, obviously not like that. So. All right, so we got that in. We're gonna put the back cover back on here. This is the new one. This was the old one. You can use whichever one you want. Again, depends on what you're replacing, what needs fixing. And it should kind of click into place. Click it into place here. Now we'll use our 4 screws. I'm going to use the original ones that went into this thing. Now we put our battery back in. And we can put it in top first. Now we'll put on our new battery cover. Voila, feels nice. Let's do a quick test. See if we didn't screw anything up. Yep. Works just fine. So now you're going to want to put all these, you want to put these things on around the edges here. There's no real trick to this. You just kind of got to amp them down till they go in. You can also put on, this kit does give you a Nintendo sticker decal. I got the backing exposed. Get it nice and sticky, so let's put that. Put the Nintendo logo voila. There we go. Fixed Game Boy Advance SP. The hinge does not lock in place. It's probably because these things are not in all the way, but I'll keep messing with them till we get them in. But the system does work. It does turn on. It sounds good. And all in all, pretty good set. I'm gonna try to get the, because there are other stickers to put on. You can try to get those off yourself. I guess since this is busted now, well and good, it don't matter, so we'll just break it to get this sticker off here. Just take it slow so you don't rip the sticker itself. I'm putting this one on so that people know that this, so that everyone who looks at this will know it's the AGS 101 model. The big difference between the two models, if you don't know, is that the AGS 101 has the backlit screen. It's more desirable, especially for collectors or modders. People like to get these older systems so that they can just mod they can get the screens out of them and use them to mod a classic Game Boy Advance, give it a brighter screen. You can use your original ones, or if you need, or if that don't work, for whatever reason, you can get just find them on eBay. Get yourself a set of stickers off of eBay, and you'd be good there. And just take your time getting it on there. See, I got it off center a little bit. I'm going to try to get it to match the grooves. It might be easiest to try to get it to match the upper one. I'm getting my first GBA SP. I had sold Pokemon cards to get it. Kind of spudge it down if it's not going down nicely. You may need to put some more glue on it. I gotta get these pieces off here. A piece of the old broken shell that I don't want on there anymore. Start in this corner. Yeah, typically to get the stickers off, all you want to do is use some heat to melt the glue, loosen the glue up, and then just pull the sticker off, and then you can re-stick it to your new case. So, or like I said, you can just buy a set off of eBay, and they'll take care of it. Then you have all of it looking sharp, looking new. But I got that on pretty good. So I'll go ahead and end it here. So there you have it. From the Now That's What I Call Gaming Workshop, we just reshelled a Game Boy Advance SP. It's not that tough to do, really, just as long as you take it slow, take your time. But you can make it work and restore your Game Boy Advance to its original style. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you find this helpful. Make sure you comment below. And if I come up with more of these in the future, I'll definitely do them with you. Thanks so much for watching. Now That's What I Call Gaming. And I'll see you for the next review. Later.